And here is the Artist's Almanac for March 9th, 2018. It's the birthday of Russian cosmonaut and first man in outer space, Yuri Gagarin. The son of a carpenter, Yuri Alexeyevich Gagarin was born in the village of Klushino, Russia in 1934. At 16, he moved to Moscow to apprentice as a foundryman in a metalworks, but soon transferred to a technical school in Saratov. There, Gagarin joined a flying club and took to the skies for the first time. He graduated from the Soviet Air Force Cadet School in 1957 and began serving as a fighter pilot. He married his wife, Valentina, that same year. They went on to have 2 daughters. In 1960, after an extensive search and selection process, Gagarin was chosen with 19 other pilots for the Soviet space program. Gagarin was also a favored candidate by his peers. When the 20 candidates were asked to anonymously vote for which other candidate they should like to see as the first to fly, all but 3 chose Gagarin. Gagarin was further selected for an elite training group known as the Sochi 6, from which the first cosmonauts of the Vostok program would be chosen. Gagarin and other prospective candidates were subjected to experiments designed to test physical and psychological endurance. He also underwent training for the upcoming flight. In August of 1960, when Gagarin was one of 20 possible candidates, a Soviet Air Force doctor evaluated his personality as follows. Modest, embarrasses when his humor gets a little too racy. High degree of intellectual development evident in Yuri. Fantastic memory. Distinguishes himself from his colleagues by his sharp and far-ranging sense of attention to his surroundings. A well-developed imagination. Quick reactions. Persevering. Prepares himself painstakingly for his activities and training exercises. Handles celestial mechanics and mathematical formulae with ease as well as excels in higher mathematics. Does not feel constrained when he has to defend his point of view if he considers himself right. Appears that he understands life better than a lot of his friends. On the 12th of April of 1961, the Vostok 1 spacecraft, with Gagarin aboard, was launched from Baikonur Cosmodrome. The radio communication between the launch control room and Gagarin included the following dialogue at the moment of rocket launch. Preliminary stage, intermediate, main, liftoff. We wish you a good flight. Everything is all right. Gagarin, Polyekali, let's go! Gagarin's informal outburst became a historical phrase in the Eastern Bloc, used to refer to the beginning of the space age in human history. In his post-flight report, Gagarin recalled his experience of spaceflight, having been the first human in space. The feeling of weightlessness was somewhat unfamiliar compared with Earth conditions. Here, you feel as if you are hanging on a horizontal position in straps. You feel as if you're suspended. His flight, a single orbit around the Earth, lasted 108 minutes. The landing ended in near disaster when the cables joining the Vostok's descent module and service module failed to separate properly, causing massive shaking as the spacecraft re-entered Earth's atmosphere. Gagarin ejected before landing, parachuting down safely near the Volga River. Following the flight, Gagarin told Khrushchev that during re-entry, he had whistled the patriotic tune by Shostakovich, The Motherland Hears, the Motherland Knows, which begins, The motherland hears, the motherland knows, where her son flies in the sky. Gagarin became an instant worldwide celebrity and visited several countries outside of his own, including Britain in 1961. Tragically, on March 27th of 1968, Gagarin was on a routine training flight just outside of Moscow when a second jet being tested that day, a much larger Su-15, mistakenly flew far lower than its plotted altitude of 33,000 feet, instead passing close to where Gagarin's plane had been flying at around 2,000 feet. Gagarin's small two-seat MiG-15 jet rolled into an unrecoverable spin after entering the wake of the much larger plane, and crashed, killing him and his co-pilot instantly. Yuri Gagarin's ashes were placed in a niche in the Kremlin wall. He was 34 years old. Let's try and remember, as the tinder of conflict is being stoked by lunatic governments here and around the world today, that it isn't governments, but individuals, human beings, who risk everything, who go on to greatness, who brave mortal peril. And Yuri Gagarin, like John Glenn or Buzz Aldrin after him, is no exception. Maybe it's just the song that's different. Thanks for listening. Be kind, do good work, and until next time.